Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Just Parenthings. Just so you know, we are also on Spotify, so if you want to give a listen while you're driving or something, go check us out on Spotify now. So today's topic will be nutrition for kids from breast milk, means breastfeeding, to formula and also to solids. So because you guys keep calling us not professionals, today we actually brought in a professional for you. And this is Dr. Zahran.
Yay!
So,
Hello.
Can you introduce yourself?
I'm Dr. Zahran. I'm working with Alami Clinic right now. I'm a general practitioner. So I've been in the industry probably for about five years.
5 years.
Nice. So doctor, we wanted to ask you today, right, for breastfeeding, like a topic on breastfeeding, right? What sort of like nutritional food should moms eat when they breastfeed?
Actually, I'm interested to just find out from you all what do you think are the sort of nutrition that you need when you breastfeed? Actually,
I think from what I learned and from my experience as a mom of 3, when we are breastfeeding, of course, it's good to eat nutritious food, but always have lots of green leafy vegetables so that your milk is always nutritious, and also to make sure to maintain the supply. To maintain the supply, it's good to actually eat spinach. I don't know whether it's true, but actually that's what I did to actually keep up with my supply.
I see. So in general, actually, in terms of nutrition for breastfeeding mothers, you do need to have what we call a balanced diet. Yeah. So you are right. A bit of basically you need fruits, vegetables, but at the same time you need whole grains as well. This includes like wholemeal bread, brown rice. You also need your proteins as well. That is quite important. This is especially because you are post-pregnant. Usually you would have a lot of blood loss during the giving birth phase. So you need high protein diet to boost your blood levels as well. In terms of when you say what specific foods to increase milk supply, actually there's not really any specific food that we identify that can boost supply.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So essentially, in terms of milk supply, so this is mainly what you need to do is basically maintain a constant flow. So you need to continuously feed your child, and if you do not feed your child, then you need to express the milk. So at least every 3 to 4 hours in terms of expressing, then feed your child about 2 to 3 hours. So I'm sure many of you.
So that means there's no such thing as lactation cookies.
Yeah, lactation would like fenugreek lah, milk tester.
Because you
lah.
will like eat salmon.
I see.
Yeah, they say that it will up the supply.
all
if
the supplements that we
Exactly,
bought
right.
last
Did you guys
time.
take the sunflower one?
Yeah.
It's like sunflower
Lecithin.
Yeah, lecithin.
Oh,
Yes.
right.
That one actually
Lecithin.
did help though.
That one
Yeah,
thins
I
out
feel
the
like-
milk.
Also,
It thins out the milk.
like declogs
Yeah. It
clog.
thins it out so that you don't get like clogged ducts.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't
That's
heard
why
that word
I'm
in
like
a while.
lactation cookies, because a lot of people say that lactation cookies will actually up your supply. And I don't know whether it's psychological, but when I do take lactation cookies, it's somehow I feel like yes,
Yeah,
when I
happier.
express milk,
Yeah.
maybe because of that, we're happier. We think that that's helping.
Yeah.
So how does that work?
So is that
actually?
myth? Is it all a myth?
I wouldn't say a myth. I mean, when you eat lactation cookies, it does encourage you to eat more. Basically,
right.
and lactation cookies does have the nutrition that
I
you
see,
need as.
okay.
But I mean, if someone doesn't take lactation cookies doesn't mean they will deplete in their breast milk supply. Yeah. You mentioned about fenugreek. Fenugreek is a more traditional way. We do at some moments we do encourage you, if you want, you can go ahead with fenugreek as well.
So if let's say a mom wants to increase her breast milk supply, are there like medication that she can eat?
Dom, right?
Yeah,
Dom
so
Perry.
we don't really
Did you almost say
prescribe.
domperidone?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
What
No,
is that?
not the champagne.
Not the champagne. Not the champagne. But it sounds super like what is
Yeah,
it?
you mean dom peridone?
Domperidone, it sounds almost
Yeah.
exactly like that.
But okay, so what does that do?
I mean,
I know,
okay, so
heard
these
that.
medications are not really created to increase breast milk supply, but
But a side effect of
yeah,
it is
a
to
side effect of it.
It's a side effect.
Oh, so what does it
Yeah,
actually
so
treat?
we don't really prescribe this
Yeah.
to
But
mothers.
But I took
to
it during
decrease-
pregnancy as well. What is
Okay.
it for?
What
Is
do
it
you
for
mean?
nausea or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So domperidone is used for nausea.
Kiki can become
I
doctor
can-
already.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
know it's not domperidone.
We need
okay?
another chair
Yeah.
over there so Kiki can sit beside
Yeah,
Dr.
I know, because I took it. That's why I know.
Because alcohol is a no during breastfeeding, of course.
Oh yeah, you
Oh,
can
yes.
pump and
Oh,
dump.
wait.
What
I
is
know
it
doctors
doing?
will say no. That is their
Okay, what if
politically right answer.
right?
Mm.
You take alcohol and then
Yep.
you forget and you feed your
Yeah.
child.
Mabuk lah your child.
Yeah.
It's very bad
Yeah,
because their
exactly.
livers are not.
Yeah.
Yeah, so alcohol
develop.
do go into the
Yeah.
breast milk, so your child will receive it.
Yeah.
Essentially, if you do drink small amounts, and usually we will recommend give a gap of like an hour
Yeah.
after before you
Oh.
breastfeed.
So
your
pump
child.
and dump, basically. Maybe
So
one
should I
round.
worry if
I will
let's
wait
say
2 hours and then after that I will still
Should I
dump because
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
should I
me
be
too.
worried if let's say I accidentally feed my child after drinking?
Why you sound like you guilty?
I mean, you first of all you need to monitor the child, see whether there's any effects. But essentially, there's a risk of affecting brain development.
Brain development.
Yeah, and yeah, essentially gonna growth. Apart from the very acute effects of intoxication.
Yeah.
I mean they do. They are a child. They're very small.
Yeah.
So
And
even
their livers cannot break down
Yeah,
the.
correct. So even small amounts might
Yeah.
affect the child drastically.
Everything
Story.
pump and dump. In fact, I pump and dump for one whole day.
But like in
I threw
Chinese,
away one day's milk supply for it.
because in
I felt
Chinese
horrible. So.
Chinese
Just don't drink
confinement.
lah.
Had one glass of red wine. And that
Yeah.
was because I was like, I haven't tasted this. And this was like towards the end of my breastfeeding
Yeah.
journey already. And I avoided so many food, by the
Yeah.
way. Like during my pregnancy, I avoided like raw fish, all of that. Then when I finally gave birth, when I ate sushi, like sashimi, I also pump and dump for one day. So for one day, I just take the milk pour.
Why sashimi cannot?
pour.
Can right? Salmon can
Yeah. I mean by the time during pregnancy you're not allowed, but once you've given birth you.
I think it was just in my head.
But
Yeah,
all my friends.
But in terms of seafood wise,
Yeah.
you do have to basically there's mercury levels in
Right,
seafood,
right.
so you want to avoid certain.
Yeah, like the deep sea fish.
Yeah,
correct.
that's right.
Or like
Well, I'm guilty
lobsters
of that.
or
When I was pregnant, I was always craving for salmon sashimi and I was eating it like nobody's
I
business.
think it's fine as long as you don't get food poisoning. That's
Yeah.
the
Oh, I
fear.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's raw. So
Right.
would you say like for foods that mummies have to avoid? Because last time when I spoke to like a few of my mummy friends, right, they did tell me that you shouldn't eat sashimi because let's say, you go eat like a cheap sashimi and let's say you get food poisoning or even not that, maybe if it wasn't so fresh or the mercury levels are higher, then it would take a risk on your child as well, whether or not you get food poisoning. So you might not get it, but it's better to still pump and dump instead. That's what my
I
friends
think the only fear is food poisoning because you don't get the effects like a normal person will because you're already
So let's say
compromised.
if a mom gets food poisoning, and is she still able to breastfeed her child, or would the virus be passed to the baby?
In fact, actually, it is okay to breastfeed a child. So there's two ideas here. So one is whether you, in terms of let's say you have a viral infection, you might find that you might affect your child directly based on contact of water droplets. So in that case, usually we'll try to, as much as possible to avoid carrying the child too closely. But at the same time, so you do need to continue breastfeeding. So you can the alternative is basically to express the milk and give the child.
And they say usually when a mom is sick, usually there's antibodies in her
Yes.
breast milk that can be passed to the
Correct.
child, right?
Yeah, so that's one of the benefits of breast milk. So the maternal antibodies that the mother have will be passed on to the child, so it reduces the risk of getting infection.
Let's say if a mom drinks, right, and then she pumps and dumps, then is it safe to breastfeed the baby after like maybe an hour of pumping and dumping? Then an hour later she breastfeeds her baby. Would that be safe?
It reduces the risk definitely, but there's always that small risk that the child might get it. That's why we encourage to avoid totally if possible.
Yeah.
But then during Chinese confinement, they always
Give
drink dom or you put rice wine so that your
Oh,
body
really?
is.
But rice wine is cooked. It's cooked.
Yeah,
down.
but those
the
is like the
the
herbs.
dom one is
You have to
Oh,
drink.
really?
yeah, it's like a shot like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I never
Oh,
drank that.
I didn't do
Oh,
that.
I did. And it's like
Yeah.
And you-
30-something% alcohol. Quite high.
Huh, really?
Or 20, I can't remember.
People buy for me, but
Remember.
because I was breastfeeding, I never drink. I
Oh,
never drank
I
it.
drank.
But you pump and dump that one.
No, I drank a bit only. It's very little. Like maybe 10 or 15 ml of it. And I drank immediately after I breastfed.
Oh,
So then
okay,
your
okay.
next feed will be
Okay.
like
It's like
3
3
hours later.
4 hours
Right.
later.
That's
I see.
But you wouldn't know how long alcohol stays in someone's body before it's totally like out, or you know. Flush it out?
I mean, it will stay
You need to do a test.
Yeah,
to
so
be
you wouldn't
very
know,
sure,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it will stay for quite a while actually. If alcohol inside the blood,
Right.
Yeah.
it does stay quite a while, a few days. But
I googled that as long as the mother feels you're okay and sober, you can feed.
Like motherly instinct.
but
ah.
you never
But come
know.
on, like a drunk person
Yeah.
will never know, right? If you're
correct.
drunk, you're like, yeah, I'm fine.
Hey, then I want to ask you guys, did you guys lose weight when you were breastfeeding? Because for me, when I was breastfeeding, right, like I lost a lot of weight actually.
Yes, I did
Apparently, you burn 750
yeah,
calories.
not
you burn
work.
calories
a day.
from
Yeah, I
breastfeeding.
lost
That did not work for me.
Huh,
I
really?
don't know. I put on more weight. I was very bloated because
No,
of all the
because you
water
ate
and all
more,
drinking.
but-
Yeah, probably.
It's like a regulated thing. Is it normal? Like do moms, do you notice this pattern in moms? Like
As
for
in
you?
they lose weight from
Yeah,
breastfeeding.
like people say like you bounce back after
Maybe it's
breastfeeding.
like just shag lah. You too shag already from
Yeah.
the
Yeah, but
waking up
then-
and night feeds.
Yeah, we do. We do say that one of the benefits of breastfeeding is actually burning of calories. Actually, yeah.
Yeah. When
Yes,
it shrinks the uterus,
Yeah, correct.
do you guys feel that?
I feel that.
Yes,
when,
it does.
When the
After
baby
you give birth,
suckles,
you can,
can
feel the
your womb
contraction.
like doing
contract.
this.
Yeah, and it's so
Yeah.
painful. Like I
Really?
yeah,
I excessively
I had
pumped.
to
I
curl
don't
my
know.
toes because I could feel
I
the
think
pain.
it's the latching and then
Yeah,
the
yeah.
hormone
Yeah.
exchange.
Yes,
When the
yes.
baby
Yes.
suckles, you can just feel it's like
Contracting.
Seems like you
from
all know a
breastfeeding.
lot.
They're mums.
Yeah.
We're all moms.
I remember that because it was very painful. Like whenever they latch, I would feel like it's like this very pain
Like period
contraction,
cramp.
like
Yeah,
period
yeah.
cramp, but it's like very very short lah, just for a few seconds. But I could feel that that's the uterus like
Yeah.
contracting. So that's when I realized that it is true what they say, that when you breastfeed, right, you actually everything is trying to go back to normal. Like
Yeah.
it somehow helps.
Yeah, I have a very legit question. So I want to lose weight already, right? I mean, I want to lose weight now, but I've already stopped breastfeeding for 2 years. Can I?
Why would lose it for one? This one's
You want to continue
already.
breastfeeding now?
Well, can I somehow induce my breast milk again so that I can
Oh,
pump and
Hey, you know what? I
burn
had
calories without exercising?
No, do you know, actually, you can. You know that? Okay, I'm sure you can actually do that because I have a friend
Yeah.
who actually couldn't have kids, and then she adopted. She adopted a baby, and then she could actually produce breast milk.
Yeah, that's what I heard. You can
Yeah.
actually stimulate it. You can
right?
keep pumping
Everything
it.
is
Oh.
so uncomfortable.
I think
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it's here for, not our
Yeah.
bullshit theories. Okay.
Nah, I mean, if something like that happen, you probably should get it checked. Because
really?
basically what we call it is hyperprolactinemia. So essentially, you are producing milk. Basically, the center where it produces the hormone for you to produce milk is right up in your brain.
Yeah.
So if you are producing milk without
Without a child.
without a child, the natural ways, then you should probably get it checked.
But if I purposely pump every day
But she
To
had
try.
a child.
to try, but I had a child like 2 years ago. Then I want to like reboot.
Does it can?
I think if you do have it, you still should
But
check
there's
it.
a possibility that you can.
Not that I know of, but yeah,
According to
Oh wait,
Google,
how did my
Possible.
friend do it? But it was actually like
Stimulation. So it
yeah, I think
stimulates
so.
your
But
brain.
it took a while lah because she wanted macam anak dia jadi dia punya mahram, like because it's her son. So
Oh.
she wants to So she did it actually Islamic way and all that. She went to a doctor and got medication and everything, and she managed to produce milk. And then it said like, macam you need to hit a certain number of ml before he is fully her blood, like
okay.
son.
That's interesting.
And she actually managed to breastfeed her adopted son.
child, yeah.
Adopted child.
I know of moms who
Okay.
stop already, then they hear a crying baby, then they start
could
to lactate. Yeah.
Hey, come
But
on,
that's like
guys. I'm not
shortly-
lactating anymore, man.
Like when you hear a crying baby,
But
it
that's not like maybe 1 month after. Or
Not years after. I'm still lactating. I'll be worried.
I
Man.
also
I'm
know
like
of,
42-year-old
a
lactating mom.
she was pregnant with twins, but one unfortunately passed away. So when her child, the surviving child was born, she had double the milk supply. Because the body is thinking it's producing for two.
Oh.
Yeah, that part we do know. That like like the child itself triggers. That's why when I mean, if you hear your child crying itself, that is already a trigger for you to lactate. I mean, it's natural, so that you are basically when the child cries, usually they are hungry, right? Yeah, so it triggers your lactation, and then you
Yeah,
you
really
can
like
breastfeed.
magic.
Magic.
Oh. Okay, so from a medical point of view, do you support breast milk over formula?
Oh.
Medical
Yeah.
point of view, medical
Okay,
point of
okay,
view.
medical point of view.
We definitely encourage breastfeeding as much as possible. But it is really you have to see what the mother what's the experience of the mother, because
Some
it's
people
not
have it very tough.
it's not easy to feed.
Yeah.
Some mothers at the start especially is quite difficult to produce milk at the very beginning, especially if it's the first child. Yeah, so we do encourage as much as possible breastfeeding because of several benefits. Yeah, so
Like the antibodies and the immunity building.
yeah, that's benefits to the kids. There's also benefits to the mothers as well. Yeah, so things like like you mentioned, the contraction of the uterus. Yeah, so at the initial stage, if your child latch on you, it actually contracts your uterus, and hence it reduces your blood loss. Another another big benefit is actually it does reduce risk of things like breast cancer, womb cancer, osteoporosis in the future, and even things like heart attack in the future.
Wow.
Okay, so breastfeeding does not cause osteoporosis, because they say that it
The
draws calcium from the mother.
No, not to the like. It's not true. I mean, you do give basically breast milk.
Calcium.
There's calcium in breast milk, but usually it doesn't go beyond the demands of what a mother
The
needs.
mother needs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had a problem when my daughter was 2 years old. She had tooth decay,
Okay.
and she had tooth decay, 4 of her teeth over here, and that's because at night she would latch. The whole entire night she would latch, and so the decay is like this. part
The
of
milk
her-
was like
the
stuck
milk
here.
is I mean, she's
Right.
kept is
I
pulling inside her mouth lah. So she had tooth decay because of that, and I had to go and get her teeth done and everything. Is is breastfeeding the cause of that?
I would say position actually.
Position.
Yeah, so we do ask to change position. Don't always be feet on the same position. Even when you sleep, you want the child
Turn
to turn the baby one side and then to the other side.
Actually, it makes sense. You put a lollipop there also will cause tooth decay.
Yeah,
right?
but then because there's been so many backlash when I actually talked about this, because a lot of people are saying
wow.
no, breastfeeding doesn't cause all this. You're a terrible
No,
mother.
it's because the breast milk was
Yeah.
pulled there.
Yeah, it's because of that. I'm not saying
That's-
like breastfeeding
that's a
causes that, but I think
Yeah.
it's because the milk pooled there. And
Yeah.
I mean, our breast milk, there's still sugar, right?
Yeah.
It's whatever we
It's
eat.
sweet,
Isn't
right?
it? It's sweet,
Isn't
no?
it sweet? Like,
it's not your usual sugar that you get from.
Okay.
It will accumulate bacteria.
Yeah.
So definitely, if, I think basically it's a theory that milk can pool. If the child get tooth decay, it's a possibility that maybe because milk pooled over there and
Yeah.
And bacteria lah.
yeah
Right.
bacteria. But I think also there is probably other factors as well that contributes to the tooth decay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I always think that for both my kids, I breastfed and I also supplemented because I always felt that I'm not getting enough nutrition for the optimal and formula milk has everything that they need. Confirm everything is inside the thing, other than antibodies and all.
So so you're saying whether formula milk is
Yeah, like is it good to supplement?
supplement?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if let's say I'm not eating as well or
Mm.
as healthy, because I cannot be eating like the 2000 calories or 2004 calories of every single like category.
Yeah. So there are instances where we do mixed feeding.
Yeah.
So instances where the mother's milk supply is current like at the moment insufficient.
Yeah,
then
that
we
was
will
me.
supplement with formula feed. Also instances where, for example, the child somehow is away from the mother. The mother can't be there because the child is admitted or the mother is admitted. Yeah, so unfortunately, we do have to formula feed the child. There's nothing wrong with formula feeding as well. The all the formula feeds that is in Singapore contains the nutrients that a child needs, so it's sufficient. Our authorities have made sure that it's safe for our children to take the formula feeds.
But let's say as a breastfeeding mom, right? If I'm not someone who watch my diet very closely, I just eat whatever.
That's what I was very
right?
afraid of.
Yeah, I just eat whatever.
Yeah.
Do I need to worry about?
Not getting enough nutrients for the baby.
Yeah, correct.
So usually we will so if you do let's say you feel concerned and you for example you see a doctor for it, usually we will try to tell you to like sort of keep a diary like for a week about what you eat. You can eat whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then after a week you can take a look at it, see whether you have the main food groups like whole grains, proteins, fruits and vegetables. Usually you will see that naturally you fulfill those food groups. Yeah.
Really, meh? Like
Yeah,
if you eat
unless-
char or
yeah.
like chicken rice, no vegetables.
But you don't eat it every
don't eat it every day.
Yeah.
But
so
I eat quite
over a week.
unhealthy.
Yeah. So for example, there are cases where mothers for example they are vegetarian, they are vegan. So we do identify they might be lacking certain vitamins like B12. So so we do have to supplement. Yeah. So usually I would say you need to discuss with your doctor and talk about your diet. And then if from just having a chat with you and we identify that you are lacking certain food groups, then you need to be on some supplements. But it doesn't apply to everybody in general.
Yeah.
Basically your diet should have the main food groups. Yeah.
On the topic of supplements, if I'm breastfeeding, do I need to take calcium supplements?
I took.
Yeah, I also took. But is it?
It's not entirely necessary
Oh
because
my
the breast milk
some of the pills so huge.
Yeah, the pink color one,
Yeah.
right? The big.
breast milk does have some levels of calcium, but there are cases where mothers do lack calcium. Calcium. So that is to the individual. So if let's say you do feel that you may lack these certain vitamins, usually you can always go to see a doctor. Sometimes you can do probably a blood test to see whether you are lacking in this kind of food nutrients. But usually based on if we look at your diary, you are eating well enough. Yeah, you should be alright. Yeah.
Actually, I want to ask you guys, like, how long did you breastfeed for? Then only your transition to formula, or did you like
Oh,
supplement?
my all the
all
way because
along?
I didn't have enough.
Because-
And because my kids had jaundice. The fastest way to flush out jaundice, in my opinion, not doctor opinion, is to give them formula because it flushes out the jaundice the fastest instead of like the phototherapy and all.
Actually,
Or
I
rather
wanted
just
to ask.
hydrating, is it?
But
Yeah.
how you hydrate the baby?
Breast milk also can.
I didn't have
right?
enough.
So
So it's mainly basically you want to maintain your feeding.
Yeah.
So why in certain cases the pediatrician suggests to do formula feed is because some mothers at the start they still struggle with their milk supply. So if they can't fulfill every 2 to 3 hours feed the child about 40 to 45 minutes, then they will supplement with formula feed where they get regular feeding. Yeah.
So like for you guys, when you started your kids on formula, right? Like how did they adapt? Because for you all along you supplemented. So if you supplemented, they are very used to the the taste and the
yeah.
texture already, right? Because breast milk and formula milk, the consistency is a slight difference, but
yeah.
babies they will know. So how was like your experience? Because I
Mine-
really want to know actually.
Can I share this very
Huh?
crazy story of my daughter? She was formula fed and also breastfed as well. And then my nanny gave her the wrong formula, water to powder formula for the entire 2 months of her life. She put too much milk powder and too little water because the milk that we used was a different one. So she gave the normal 1 scoop to like 50 ml or 30 ml water, but actually it has to be 50 ml water. But she only gave 30 ml. So she drank almost double. It was like a milkshake. So at the end of that 2 months, right, the nanny kept telling me, your daughter doesn't want to drink. Your daughter doesn't want to drink. I'm like, how can it be? She's so fat. And she had no neck, you know. She was so fat. Because she was drinking milkshake. And then after that, then I went to watch her make the milk. Then I realized, oh my God. And then I freaked out and I was like, I asked my husband to come and I was like, because my husband said it is this amount of water to this amount of formula. Then we realized the reason why she wasn't drinking was because she couldn't suck, the poor girl.
Oh my
She was only drinking
gosh.
when I was feeding. So she preferred to feed, but I didn't have enough. She preferred to latch, but because it was easy, it was watery. Then she was drinking the formula until she gave up. So every time you put the bottle to her mouth, she would like reject it.
Oh my
And
gosh.
the day I found out was like either the night before Chinese New Year or first day of Chinese New Year. I freaked out. No GP would see me. The speed dog all don't want to see because she's too young. She's only 2 months old. I rushed her to A&E because I was Googling and said their kidney cannot take it because it is too concentrated. And then the A&E doctor saw her scalp because you can see like the dehydration, like their skull
yeah.
will sink in because the hair is not developed yet. And they were like, she's fine. If you are very worried, you take a blood test to be very sure, but she's super young. You don't want to prick her.
Yeah, so again, individual cases, but in general, so why we want to keep to the same ratio? Because one example is we don't want to, like, for example, put too much water.
The electrolyte.
Yes,
correct.
correct.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
the kidneys are still developing. It doesn't process as much as an adult.
Yeah, they cannot
So,
drink water.
Yeah, if they
Yeah.
drink too much water,
Yeah.
they will get basically their will stress the kidneys, and then you will end up with what we call.
So thicker is better than thinner.
I
If you had to err on one side.
just on basically slight difference, it's
Yeah.
fine. But if it's a huge significant change, then there might be consequences
So
to the
guilty,
baby.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Is that why they say like babies below 6 months do not give them water?
Yeah,
they say?
yeah,
Yeah.
electrolytes.
Yeah, that's right.
Because of that.
So what
Something
happens
like
if a baby drinks too much water?
The electrolytes, huh?
And
Yeah.
then what's the condition called?
Oh, okay.
Wow,
So
medical
condition
term,
you want,
master.
yeah. Okay, so if let's say too much water, you are at risk of getting what we call hyponatremia.
Yeah.
So basically your blood is diluted. Basically you have this electrolyte level. So for example, sodium. So one of the electrolytes is sodium. So if
Not enough, too
if
diluted.
too much water, then it will be diluted, and you need this sodium to allow your body to function.
Yeah.
Right.
And
It's like, you know,
it
normal
can be
people.
fatal, right?
Yeah.
For a
Yes.
baby.
Really?
Yeah. You can
Like, you know, example, you lao sai too much, you need to go for a drip. That's because your electrolytes are out of balance.
Okay,
That's
like
the same for a
outside as
baby.
in like, you know,
Yeah,
you walk
that's
and then it's
right.
coming out of you, that kind
As in,
of
like when
food
you're
poisoning or
dehydrated.
whatever lah.
Yeah,
Okay,
your
okay.
electrolytes are wet.
No, because I'm thinking, so since if let's say below 6 months, right, what is the like maximum that they can drink? Or after 6 months, like how much water can they drink, you know?
Yeah.
Like a gauge?
So water wise, usually we avoid giving water totally for below 6 months.
Below 6 months.
Below
Yeah.
6 months, we totally try
Just
to
milk
avoid.
lah.
Yeah, just milk. Just milk will be sufficient. The milk itself contains water, so that is already sufficient. Yeah. Above 6 months, usually we will probably give about in fact we give milk. So we do still encourage giving milk. So about 500 to 750 mils of milk. And then, but the main source as they get older. So at the start, at 6 months, you start introducing solids, right? Yeah. So as they get older, solids will be their main
Source of
nutrients. Yeah. So, but you still need milk at the side. And water wise, there's so within that fluid level, so you just keep it between 500 to 750 mils, including your milk as well.
Including
per
milk.
day. Yeah, per
That's
day.
not a lot, huh,
Oh my
actually.
goodness.
So like sips.
So since if let's say below 6 months, right, what is the like maximum that they can drink? Or after 6 months, like how much water can they drink? You know?
Yeah.
Like a gauge?
So water wise, usually we avoid giving water totally for below 6
Totally,
months.
Below
below
6
6 months.
months,
Below
yeah.
6 months, we totally try
Just
to
milk
avoid.
lah.
Yeah, just milk.
Ah.
Just milk will be sufficient. The milk itself contains water, so that is already sufficient. Yeah. Above 6 months, usually we will probably give about in fact we give milk. So we do still encourage giving milk. So about 500 to 750 mils of milk, and then but the main source as they get older. So at the start, at 6 months you start introducing solids, right? Yeah. So as they get older, solids will be their main
Source of
nutrients. Yeah. So but you still need milk at the side. And water wise, there's so within that fluid level, so you just keep it between 500 to 750 mils, including your milk as well.
Including
Per
milk.
day. Yeah, per
That's
day.
not a lot, huh,
Oh my
actually.
goodness.
So like sips, just
Ah,
sips.
but my son is 4 now and he doesn't drink water at all. So I always dilute his milk so that he gets more water
Yeah.
intake.
Yeah, so the good thing is, so beyond 6 months, usually the kidney is still functioning okay.
Yeah.
So is already quite developed.
Yeah.
So it's okay for you to once in a while give water, but so there's a balance. It's always a balance. Too much water is not good. Too little water is not good. So again, you have to look whether if your child is dehydrated, then she probably need a bit of more water.
Okay, how about for
Even-
this is totally out of topic, but for adults, is a lot of water not good for us?
Yeah.
Yes. So
Oh, I heard of water poisoning. Is it true?
yeah. So
Seriously, I
we-
kena so badly on social media because of that, man. Because I
But is
tell
it
people
true,
to drink
like water poisoning?
Yeah, we do. There are cases where patients drink too much water.
Like how much is too much?
Like 5 liters.
Huh?
Yeah,
At one
it's
shot.
It's not
No lah, not one shot lah.
quantifiable in a sense, but it really this one is individual variation again. But they will come in. So depends on how severe it is. Some become very weak. Some can even lead to things like coma. Not
Yeah.
coma, like
What? Yeah.
unconscious. Sorry,
Yeah.
not coma. Unconscious just because they lack the electrolytes.
electrolytes,
Yeah. So
yeah.
sodium levels become too low. You are at risk of collapse. So if they do, so there's conditions where some cases they keep drinking water.
Yeah.
For example, they think that because they, like, for example, eating disorder. Okay, they're different topic.
Okay.
Just share.
Just share. Quick one.
So, yeah, eating disorder. Because they would want to eat normal food, so they think drinking water, just
make them
water, will
full?
make them full, and they can avoid eating. So they keep drinking water, lots and lots of water, and then they sort of just drown their kidneys, stress their kidneys. You know.
That can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There was
that
this
can
lady who died after drinking too much water. She drank like 2 or 3 of those 1 or 1.5 liter water.
In
She died.
America,
Yeah.
right? But I think that what she
Listen.
drank,
So maximum is what, 3 liters a day? Because like 3 days ago, I drank like 7
No, but
liters of
for
water.
that case,
7
It's
liters?
a lot, leh.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's why I wanted to ask this question. I was like, oh.
Why?
I mean, you have to, as in,
You're stressing your kidneys.
Thirst is a good measure of whether you need water or not. Yeah, but although there are cases where people overdrink without realizing, but I mean, if it's all about whether you do it consistently, persistently, and especially if you like sweat a lot
Yeah.
and all, then that's fine. You need to replace the
What are
water.
you doing that
Yeah.
you need 7 liters
Yeah,
of
why do
water
you
a
need 7
day,
liters?
Cheryl?
Explain it to us,
I
Cheryl.
cannot say on this.
Oh,
on
cannot
the-
say.
on camera. Cannot.
7 liters of water? That's
Yeah, I think
Crazy
8
enough.
cups. 8 cups.
It comes like 2
yeah.
liters, right?
Yeah,
More or less 2
more or less,
liters.
yeah. 2 liters
Wait,
is
how-
fine.
this
7
bottle is
liters,
like
yes, it's
what?
a lot lah.
this is 1.5
No,
Is it one ah?
this is
750.
Maybe
about
one
1
lah.
900
One.
but I always drink water already. I still feel thirsty.
Yeah,
Then
me too.
TikTok tells me I need to add salt to my water.
Oh, is that true?
No.
Wait, what?
No, they say like if you always like lightheaded and like you're always
Yeah.
thirsty, then you add salt to your water
Not
when you drink.
salt, not table salt. Maybe
I don't know, they say salt. They
No
never
lah.
specify what kind of salt.
No, not table
They just say a
salt.
little bit of
What
salt.
are we doing to our bodies?
Is that not
Yeah.
true? That
You
is
probably
the
need
salt.
those like rehydration.
Wait, I'm asking the
salts.
doctor, babe.
Well, okay, so it's
You
not
can-
about clear cut whether it's true or not true. Again, it like salt in water.
It's like sore throat. You gargle your mouth there. What are you talking
Got ulcer. You gargle your mouth.
You feel lightheaded, then you
I'm
put
gonna
salt
be that kind of boomer who believe everything on
I mean,
TikTok.
so,
but
so you
yeah.
feel so the problem is you feel thirsty.
Yeah.
You feel thirsty, just drink water lah. Yeah.
You don't need a doctor to tell you that, okay?
Straightforward, guys.
So before we end the episode, Doctor, I wanted to ask you can you summarize up for us what moms should avoid eating when they want to breastfeed or if they are breastfeeding?
Yeah. So there's three common things that we usually encourage to avoid. So one is alcohol, as
Okay.
we have talked about earlier. Another thing is caffeine. So essentially, if you you know how caffeine, when you take caffeine to drink, you take caffeine to feel more awake,
Awake,
more alert.
yes.
Yeah, so this will go to your baby as well. So it will affect for example, one of the things that it will affect is sleep-wake cycle
Yeah.
for the baby. Yeah. Then
okay.
lastly, essentially seafood that contains high mercury. Things like mackerel, tuna. Yeah, so those are high mercury levels. So you want to avoid that as much as possible.
Okay. So we've come to the end for part 1. So make sure to go and watch part 2 because that's where we're going to be talking about solid foods for babies and also transitioning to that as well.